They're locals who know. John and Alicia Mack join us to talk about a company they created called Nocals. They rent out kayaks. They provide cowboy action shooting sessions. We'll learn all about that. Plus, we'll hear the naked truth about a photography session. That's coming up on this episode of We're No Damn Experts.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon New.
And we're no damn experts. There we go.
We got it. And it's Friday again. Happy Friday. We're recording on Friday. It comes out on Friday.
We should do this more often.
I like this.
A little more relaxed, a lot more whiskey on the table.
Oh, I wish. Except I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm a beer drinker. And we're recording it, by the way, on International Beer Day is when we're recording this. So I've been editing footage all morning that has to do with beer. So now I all of the things I really want beer.
Today in the studio with us, I'm so excited to introduce you to our guests, listeners. One, I have been stalking socially for a long time.
Can you guess which one of you that is?
When she started her photographing of all of her visits to state parks. And then we also have her husband, who is a former police officer who's now very concerned that I've been stalking his wife for a long period of time. From the mean streets of Bakersfield, John Mack and his lovely wife, Alicia. Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here.
Great to be here.
That was quite the introduction. How concerned are you?
I'm not concerned because it's just so funny. Rebecca's worried about me being worried about stalking, but it's really interesting. She
You've
just
been
smells.
stalking
She
her.
smells so different than when she's awake. It's just we're this close in the studio. So, yeah.
Wow, that
it takes
was
two, Rebecca.
That took the
I
creepiness
told
level
you
just
we're going to start and it's just going to go downhill from here. I
my
told
gosh.
Shannon, I said, this is how I'm going to introduce. And she's like, oh, this will be great. I'm like, yeah, it's just going to set
well,
the
it's
tone.
Friday.
It is. There's a lot happening. Also, I just learned that John can do little raps.
Yeah.
But not on command. If you ask me to do it now.
No, it'll just come out
Silence.
naturally, I
Right.
think.
I think at the end, maybe by the end, we can get a rap.
So eventually we're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing now. But Alicia, you had an adventure partner and you went to all of the state parks in Montana?
Not all. I mean, we definitely tried, but
Valiant effort.
I know. In essence, we started in 2016. This is how it got kicked off. John and I ended up going to Cataract Falls, which is near us up in the Rocky Mountain front. I had never heard of it. I spent a lot of time growing up going into the Little Belts to Memorial Falls.
Yeah, of
super
course.
great. Easy hike for kids. Super fun.
Yeah.
But John and I discovered Cataract when it was probably like late February, but the roads weren't too snowy. We made it up there, and we took an awesome picture of me just standing in front of the icy falls. And I showed it to my friend Lana when we came back, and she got the gumption to go out. She went out that afternoon, took a photo, and she posted on Instagram. I was newer to Instagram at the time.
Yeah.
And I got super jealous that she posted
Well,
it.
because the whole world flipped out about Lana's post in
Yeah.
this photo.
You're
And
like,
I said,
hey, I was there first.
We took
I
the better
told her.
photo.
I know. So in essence, John came up with a really funny long hashtag that said something like 2016 waterfall throwdown challenge.
Well, this is when hashtags were big, and we had no idea. How are you supposed to use these things? So I was like, well, let's
2006? 16?
2016.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think hashtags
So
were
we-
a thing in 2006.
No, I would agree.
We came up with this 40-letter long hashtag.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Creative.
We threw down the challenge, and it was between Lana and us, basically, and her husband got involved too. And in essence, they had to be real waterfalls per Google, like an actual waterfall. And I think we won that year with 71 waterfalls.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then they came close. And then the next year, we got a few other friends involved. and we did state parks, and it was a blast. We kind of said any state park, but we
last
focused.
place that year. We did horrible.
Well, because people are really competitive.
Well, people
and
took your baby and ran with it. Did you have a hashtag for the state park one?
Yes, we did. Now I can't remember.
Not as lengthy as the
no,
other
it
one?
was a
Okay.
lot easier to use.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why people ran with it.
And I
yeah.
think with that one, we were trying to get Montana state parks
Yes.
aware and involved, and it worked because so us and another couple Montana state parks got in contact and said, "Oh, we love this content. We love, all this stuff." So they sent us a backpack and a book, and it was awesome. And it's
fun.
First swag I've ever gotten from.
Nice.
You're like an influencer.
Yeah, look at you go. The original.
Did you do like an unboxing of the
Oh,
backpack?
I
Unboxing
should
video.
have. I
Oh,
should
man.
have. I was giddy though. I love
up on that
backpack.
trend? Yeah.
Yeah, but we love Montana state parks. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, so great.
That's fab. Well, and 71 waterfalls. Is that what you went to? Okay.
Yeah.
So and there's more
in
than
just
71.
the state?
Yeah.
No. This was
all
all
over.
over the world.
Oh,
Some
okay.
of
Yeah.
our friends were in Switzerland, and
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
and one of them, I thought it was cheating. They took a picture of the Swiss Alps and said, "There's 41 named."
that's
I said,
100%
we're
cheating.
playing this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to charter a helicopter, fly over a glacier with a wide angle lens, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cheating. That's cheating. All right.
But we definitely focus a lot in Montana, because it's so fun discovering places that we haven't been to before. That's what the State Parks Challenge did the most for me. Basically, maybe state parks are a little, some of them are a little cooler than others. But the amazing thing is it took us to places in Montana we have never been to and never taken the time to drive down that highway, that road.
Right.
So we covered spots on the map that we've never been to and
That's,
found
I think,
cute
the
little
best
towns,
part.
cute little things.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
and accidentally trespassed on what we believed was a state park, but turns out was closed a couple years before, which made sense why. There's snakes and bugs and road closed.
I thought you were going to say it would make sense why you got let out of there in handcuffs. Is that what?
Oh no!
Okay.
The brake is the coward's pedal. You run as fast as you can.
Nice.
We
Okay.
have people in Great Falls that go to all the city parks because we've got 53
Yeah.
city parks. And I always think that it's awesome, but I also find it a little strange. Like, what are you going to do at each one of the parks? Just
That's
be like,
different.
I'm here. Because some
Totally.
of the
Have a
parks don't
picnic in each
have
park.
anything, and some of them have play structures, some of them have pools, but
Totally.
to just go there and sit
Here
in
I
a
am.
park, like
Take a
some of
selfie
them
in
aren't
each
very
park.
big, but
Yeah.
My friend Gina did that, and
Yeah?
she loved. I think the thing she liked the most is each of them is named. Like, some of the names are so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like, why did you name this park that? And who did that? It's kind of fun. So I think
that's
she tried
the
to figure it
point.
out.
You
Yeah.
figure out why it's named whatever it's named in
Yeah.
each park.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
had a vision. I've seen people who take amazing photographs in addition to you two, but other people as well, of like old neon signs at
Ooh,
bars or buildings.
Yes.
I've always wanted to do like city signs in towns that have like nothing. And I'll pick on my hometown of Loring, Montana. There's no reason you'd really go there except to visit my folks.
I'm sorry.
And
Where's Loring? That sounds
Loring,
made up.
This is a good question.
it
Yes.
is not made up. Why would I make up my hometown?
What county is
To
this
feel validated.
Phillips County.
in? Okay, Phillips County.
And I mean, I know, of course, but I'm asking for friends. Where's Phillips County?
For our listeners,
Yeah,
they need to
yeah,
know.
Yeah. On Highway 2 between Hill and Valley County, you'll find Phillips, which is between Havre and Glasgow. So once you got to Malta, head north for 38 miles.
So
You'll
almost
find.
Canada.
Yeah,
Wow.
almost Canada. But to frame the picture of having the city
That was
sign,
good wordplay. Frame the picture.
I know. I'm good
Good
with
job.
puns. It's just
Yeah.
natural for me.
I'm
so
so
that you-
nervous about this microphone position. Otherwise, eventually I'll be punnier at the end.
He's going to get there.
They keep pinching me when I get too far from the mic. How's this, Rebecca? Am
It
I good
sounds
now?
good
That's
now.
much- that-
there
that's
you
good.
go. So you can hear
Live,
the
live
difference.
in that zone. Live in that zone. Yeah.
And then you get some portion of the city behind you, or town or community.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do like a small town
That would be neat.
city sign series.
Oh,
I always thought it would be fun because most towns have like a division street or central or something
Oh, yeah?
to do a tour and
We
just
got
get
both.
those division and central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that could be kind of a cool thing too, is get pictures of that street in every town that
Or
has one.
to go to every mint bar. That's more my style.
Yeah, that
Not
too.
to every mint bar, but a sign of every mint bar in the state of
Well,
Montana.
no, your style is to go to
Yeah.
every mint bar. That's true.
Not everybody has to go in, but they can all take a
You
picture
will.
of the sign.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Anyway,
That's a
so
given. So back
to bring
to
that
Great
up.
Falls.
Back to Great Falls. And okay, so we talked about photography.
Yeah.
This is one of your many
Endeavors.
joint passions, adventures, businesses. Tell us about the photography passion and business.
Tell us about your
Yeah.
entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yes. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So interestingly, excuse me, Alicia's all three of her sisters. There's 4 sisters. They were all professional photographers at one point.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
They're all artists, and so she had said, they've all owned that, so I'm just gonna let them do it and whatever. Well, I got big into photography when I was a police officer. Just I would go travel and we'd go hiking.
Is this
and,
where your stalking creepiness?
Where he
no,
perfected
that's
it.
something
I
else.
was
It's where he
born with that.
perfected.
Yeah. But so we'd go hiking, and I thought it was the most boring thing in the world to, on a hot summer day, strap a bunch of weight onto my body, hike up a hot mountain, cut my legs up, get all itchy, get sweaty, and then turn around and walk back down and drive home.
Oh,
I
I
thought
tried to convince you to go hiking for years,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't want to.
ineffectively did not work until I got a camera, and then I'd go to the
Okay.
end, take an interesting picture, and what I learned from our friend Lana is people respond to that. They're interested. They want to see. And so I was like, well,
So you shared it.
Yeah. And so I then would take photos, interesting photos, because other people were like, well, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. It didn't look like that when I was there. And
Yeah.
it lit this weird sharing fire. And that's when I, just as a hobby, developed my photography skills. And enough people started saying, you should do this professionally. You should do this professionally.
Oh.
And I decided, well, I like risk. Let's do it. And so,
And Alicia
And I
said,
don't.
I'm going to come along for the ride.
I hate
I
risk.
love roller coasters with our finances. Yeah. So
Nothing could be funner.
Yeah.
So we started our photography company full time. Left the police department, still work with them on a volunteer basis because I think we need people that care about the community and that. But,
absolutely.
and started our business. And it was funny because all our friends and family who were like, you should do this professionally, as soon as we were wanting to charge money for it,
They were
it was
like,
like crickets.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, everybody thinks it's a great idea when they're going to get it at no cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no.
Yep.
When you're in business, you have no friends. This is your price point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we figured it out and we retooled and, the amount of books we've read, the amount of nights that we stayed up. She's crying. Of course, I never cried, at super stressful
Right.
skirting bankruptcy situations.
Total
but
peace the whole time.
yeah. Yeah. But we
Got
we
this. Got this.
we learned the basics and how to build on it. And but yeah, the rest that was about 6 years ago. And
Yeah.
it's been solid since. And in that time, every time I reach a new place where I have some new time that's freed up or some new resources or income allows me to go do other things, my brain is always thinking, what's the most risky thing I can do? How can I make Alicia the most uncomfortable with this new venture idea? No.
The true picture of marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long
Yeah.
have you two been married?
We've been married for 18 years.
Oh, my
my
gosh.
gosh.
And I know
Years.
you can't tell from looking at us, but you look at us and you'll say, "Oh, did you get married when you were 3 or 4?"
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it happens all the
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it should,
Aw.
because it makes sense. You guys don't look like. It looks like you were married when you're 5 or 3. Yeah. Okay, so what do you Okay, actually,
What do you photograph?
What do
We
you photograph?
photograph.
Thank you for using my language. Well, we can go with that question. I have another one after that.
Yeah.
What do you photograph?
Yeah. So in the past, we've done everything. It's
Yeah.
literally the situation. If anybody was willing to give us money in exchange for our photography, we did it.
Yeah.
We drew the line at boudoir stuff. That's
Okay,
when-
I was just going to ask. I was like, well, where's the line?
Well, when people start taking off their clothes, it gets uncomfortable. We did have one guy. The only time I ever said yes.
Oh, it was a
Dude?
guy.
So there's 3 of us sitting in a studio. So I'm a big hairy guy. Alicia's a pretty lady, and then we worked with another big hairy guy like me that edited all our photos. So we're sitting in our
Okay.
photo studio downtown, probably 5.5 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
In walks a guy. Turns out he was in the Air Force, and
Okay.
he walks in, and he's looking around, and you can just tell he's processing his life choices up to this point. He says, "Well, I'm here. I'm just going to ask. So my wife loves my butt. And can I say that?
Yeah,
are
you
we
can
getting
say butt.
Is the FCC going to censor
No,
us?
No.
That's
Excuse
fine.
me, buttocks.
That's fine. Yes.
And so
The
his
glute.
he was going to get deployed, and he wanted to have a life-size pillow of his back and his butt and his legs.
And he's like looking over.
Yep,
like, his
kind of
shoulder,
flirty, made into a
at the
pillow
camera.
so his wife could cuddle with a life-size.
Oh,
full
my
body
gosh.
pillow.
Yeah,
Okay,
and-
I
first,
have a
that's
lot of
like a
mixed-
sweet
That
thing.
It is
It
sweet.
Oh,
is
yeah.
sweet.
It
My
is
Like on the
sweet.
surface,
Yes.
it's a sweet thing.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
is sweet.
I agree. And I sort of said, well, I'm out. I'm not interested in this, but John.
And I said, you know, we've never said yes to things like this, and we definitely have been asked. I said, but the fact that you walked in here, looked at us all, and went for
Went
it,
for
full
it
send,
anyway.
you sent it. I
Yeah.
will do it if you want. It turns out he did not want to.
He must have
or never
embarrassed
called us back or
himself during
something,
that
but- Oh,
meeting.
no.
But I
yeah.
would've.
He never called us
I would have
back.
photographed that man's butt and as
Yeah.
a beloved
Gift for his
object
wife.
of affection
Yes.
for his wife. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you
I'm-
for your service.
Yes.
Thank you for your service, sir. And if you're still in Great Falls, come
Go
back.
for it.
Let's get your picture taken so you can make a pillow for
Yeah.
your wife.
It is a.
That's nice.
That actually, yeah, it might sound odd.
I
but,
mean,
it's
I
kind
wouldn't
of a
want
sweet
that of
request.
my husband's
Yeah.
backside, but
I
Right.
think it was cute.
to each their own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That is
My
kind
love
of
is just not
endearing.
that strong, I guess.
I
Oh
get.
my
I would tell
gosh.
Robert. Yeah.
Oh.
No butt pillows for you.
But
Okay.
the type of photography we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've
We've
done
covered what you
we've
Don't
almost
do.
did.
done most anything,
Okay.
and now we're really limited. We have a lot of long-term relationships with
Yeah.
great organizations like Benefice, Alluvian, the Great Falls Clinic, CM Russell Museum, and we focus most of our efforts on that because it's repeat business and it's consistent, and those are organizations that know how to deploy their marketing spend, and it's just
Some
kind
more
of a
commercial photos.
correct.
Okay.
Yep, she
Okay.
does. Alicia does a ton of graduating seniors, families. We do a lot of headshots, but with our new efforts, we just don't have time to fit all this in, and so we're saying no to a lot of photography right now because we're all booked up. Because the interesting thing about photography is you don't really have a business. You have a job that you created for yourself.
Yep.
And if you're crazy like me, your boss is also insane. And so that's never fun.
A lot of great conversations, I think, happen at work there.
Yep. But you're working on every good weather day of the year, basically.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what our life has become is our friends are like, hey, we're going to go to the river. Oh, sorry, we have a session tonight.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of it's great that you're making money and you've created
Oh,
a
yeah.
income stream for
Yeah.
yourself. But
Yeah.
it's at great expense. And
Great to
Absolutely.
be able to
There's
pay the
not
mortgage,
specific
keep the powers
hours.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Buy
so now-
groceries.
So we are still doing photography, but we've had to say no to a lot of stuff so that we can
Sure.
focus on
The new
Our
endeavor,
new venture.
hopefully the reason that you've invited us here.
Yeah.
which now I'm super excited.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us about your new endeavor, just so I don't screw up the name, because I
Okay.
think I know the way to say it, but sometimes not so smart.
Nope.
Yeah, so the new venture that we're starting is called Nocals, and it's spelled KNOWCALS, and it's locals who know, like knowledgeable locals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
We-
merge
great
them
slogan.
together. I'm glad you created words.
Yeah.
We're big into creating words.
Nice. Yeah, well, and it's funny because the whole idea of this during COVID, luckily, right before pandemic, I went back to school in Silicon Valley for software engineering because we had just launched an e-commerce company and I needed to be able to program something myself. And back when I went to school, we did HTML websites and nothing was interactive, and I needed much more interactivity than I had. And
Side note, John loved during COVID when we were actually when people were locked down.
Yeah.
He's spending 24 hours a day practically doing schooling. And
It
he
was
loved
amazing.
it. Because he's introverted. I'm definitely extrovert.
I'm not
I
shy.
got blue.
Yeah.
I got sad because I'm not seeing anybody.
yeah.
And he was
I
just
thought
like,
it was
this
let's
is
get
amazing.
up
Well,
at
because
5
you don't have all
a.m.
those other distractions. You have to
No.
sit there inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
so-
and my routine was like 12 or 15 hours of school.
my
And then when I
gosh.
couldn't handle it anymore, go chop a bunch of wood. We had a cottonwood tree that Northwestern Energy cut down for free, but it needed to be chopped. I was like, this is the most amazing life.
Do you have a
life.
I could ever have.
fireplace?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a fire
Okay.
pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
two,
there we go.
2 fireplaces and a fire pit.
Perfect.
Wow.
Not,
Okay.
not sure
Not
the majority
currently.
of them are legal.
Yeah.
Not currently, just because we're in fire restrictions, so nothing outside, please.
Yes,
You said
yes.
only talk about positive things.
Yeah.
Rebecca, the fire situation is not positive.
It is.
You're
I
sucking the life
understand
out of your
But
audience
this is
right now.
more important. You do have to be aware. Fires happen
This
in
is true.
Montana.
I'm just glad that there's a purpose for your chopping, though.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
the purpose could have been stress relief, too,
Yeah,
I
well,
suppose.
for what
but
it's worth, don't try to burn cottonwood. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Get pine.
not the best
Buy
wood
pine
to burn.
from a pro.
Yeah. That's
All
true.
right. Okay, so no.
I thought maybe that was one another entrepreneurial endeavors. You guys were selling some firewood by the cord.
That is a business. Firewood delivery. That's a real business.
That is a business.
I kid you not. John would start a new business every 2 weeks if I let him.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you
But
just
that's
have
good to have
that
that
fire,
spirit.
that excitement.
He does.
and-
He has that entrepreneurial gift. It's great. It's fun to watch.
Or obsession or
Yeah.
compulsion or mental health disorder. But whatever it is, that's fine.
I mean,
making it work.
there's probably levels there. There's probably levels of health within that. Yeah. Okay, so what is no?
Sorry, yes.
It's
So-
locals who know about what?
It's not us.
You're just asking for the punchline. You said we don't want a
said
10-minute
headline.
conversation. I'm stretching it out into an hour.
Okay, but you said
Shannon.
you were all about the headline, so
Yes.
this is the headline option.
Yes. So Nocals, we're making it easy to find outdoor gear to rent or book an adventure.
Okay, fantastic.
And the way that we're doing that is think peer-to-peer, just like Airbnb. So if you have a kayak, it probably hangs in your garage 95% of the year. We found this out. We had a couple paddle boards hung in our garage 360 days out of the year. The 5 days that we used them, it was fun for the first couple hours. And then we're like, okay, that's a lot of work. And so our friends and family would borrow them more than we did. And we're like, this is interesting. We can do something about that. And so the platform that we're building would allow the everyday person to go and list their kayaks or paddle boards on our website. And strangers can go book them just like they do with Airbnb. They can leave a good review, and we have to get involved with insurance and permitting and stuff like that. But there's also a different need, which is, well, I'm new to Great Falls. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to do it. What do I do? I only have one car. How do we do this safely?
Yeah.
And so we also want to allow people to be guides and say, not only can you rent my paddle boards, but I'll take you on a date night. We'll go do a paddleboarding lesson with Alicia. We'll have, a picnic basket for you too. And it'll be this fun thing, just, splashing around in the water. So that's what we're doing, basically. We're trying to build that platform in Great Falls, Montana.
It's a brilliant
It
idea.
is.
The one thing, my biggest issue right now, which I think I'll become part of the solution, there's no bicycles on there to rent.
Yes.
I don't know why you all haven't been more interested in bicycling.
We need to get bicycles on there.
I've got 2 of them.
Are you really interested in bicycling?
We are big bikers in our family.
Okay.
They've been in the storage unit for 2 years with flat tires. So I just
Yep.
got to put tires on it. But then I think I'll list them so people can rent them.
Yes.
I'm going to make them come here, not my house.
Yeah.
Just because,
That makes sense.
I don't want them smelling me at night.
Yep.
That's kind of
Right.
strange.
Well, the people that are capable of doing that are doing it anyways, and you obviously don't have any idea.
No,
Rebecca.
I'm a hard sleeper. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers me.
But Rebecca, you're right. We need bikes on there. The biggest reason I think that'd be helpful is for people who are staying in hotels here that learn. I mean, we have such a great trail system in Great
Amazing.
Falls.
World
It
class,
is amazing. So of course we want to be able to quickly be able to have them have the ability to rent a bike and right away get on it, get on the trail, relax, look at our beautiful Missouri River.
Take in the 28 works of art along the
Yes.
River's
Right.
Edge Trail.
There's a lot of them.
And then if
Including
you
our
start from
T-Rex up on the hill.
if you start from our location here at 15 Overlook Drive, it's all downhill.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk
In a
about the fact that
positive
you have to
way.
come back uphill, but
But you know what? The fun thing is, whoever rents out bikes on our platform, they can decide how they want to do it.
Right.
Okay.
Say they're a go-getter, or let's say it's a little bit more relaxed. Like you have to pick up the bike at my driveway. So you set up the bike like that time to pick it up. You would come pick it up with your car. So I'm assuming that's a person who has a rental car or who lives local. But what if you're a go-getter and instead you're like, hey, I'll drop it off up at the tourism office, like up there, and then in essence, I'll pick you up wherever you want in 3 or 4 hours. Where do you want me to pick you up?
Really nice option for people.
that would be me. And I would decide while I'm lying on the trail going, just pick me up here.
Actually,
Sound the
please
alarm.
come back and get me.
You're going to need a wagon.
Yes.
With some water.
I'm not walking.
Yes. But yeah, as a gear person who rents it out on our site, you can decide how you want that to go, how your rental is. And same with as an adventure guide, you can decide what type of adventure it is, how much customer service you're giving as a guide and as a host. Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of fun.
And
So
there's
kind of like an Uber driver. Like I get to decide if I'm going to give you water.
Yep. Yes.
absolutely.
I'm going to
Orange
decide if I want
slices,
to
mints.
be
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
be
and that's-
conversational in the vehicle
Orange
with you.
slices? Yes, I've never.
Yep.
I don't know. It just
I
came
love
to my
that.
brain. I don't know.
Oh, I love that.
The
Like the
runner's
hot
fuel.
towels with like citrus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I
Rebecca,
like
that's a great insight, because the whole idea of Uber is kind of involved in this, because Craig Mattson, who owns Montana River Outfitters, great guy. I talked to him when we were first starting this idea, and he's like, "Oh, I love it."
He's
and gave
really
me
supportive.
Yep.
And if you've not heard our podcast episode with Craig Madsen, Born in a River, it is fantastic.
Nice.
Okay, keep
so
going.
great guy. And I was talking to him about this idea, and he helped me understand that one of the reasons so his business, they do a lot of high end float trips, and they'll pack rafts on mules and drop them in rivers and all sorts of stuff. So the transactional 2-hour paddleboard rental isn't really what he wants to do, but he does it because there's a need. But he said, we don't deliver, and it takes a long time to explain how to tie something down on somebody's car and help them with that. And he has better things to do. And so in this idea, what we realized is there's this need for on-demand delivery of, this sort of cargo, paddleboards, kayaks, bikes, all that stuff. And so that's one of the things that is also in the works for this. And just to take a step back, this isn't just a Great Falls thing we're doing. It's not even just Montana. We want to scale it all over, and we're just starting in Great Falls because
That's where you live.
This is our hometown. This
Yeah.
is what we know. This is where we love.
Yeah.
But that's going to be one of the services that we'll offer. Is it's you don't have to own the gear, but if you have a trailer and can slap a paddleboard on there and go be available to deliver it, just like Uber Eats and all that stuff, then it'll be available. So that pickup
cool.
and delivery.
Yeah.
So.
So the Rent-A-Buddy feature, or the adventure guide rental.
The person rental. Yes.
You guys, as part of the startup of this, have a lot of your own kind of activities and experiences
Right.
wrapped into this. One of them is renting a Jeep experience or booking a Jeep
Ooh.
experience. Is it called Jeeping?
Um,
You go Jeeping?
It could be.
The Jeep community is so fun. Like, they're great. We have the Jeep wave that all the Jeeps give each other.
Is
Probably
that-
like
Alicia,
Harley.
is it different
we
than
don't
the
talk
Montana?
about the
Sorry.
Jeep.
Oh.
Okay, you
With
have to
non-Jeep
Secret club.
people? I want to start a Trailblazer club, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, is it that much different than the normal Montana?
It's
No,
actually
it's-
super
Alicia,
similar.
you're lucky this isn't on video.
Oh.
You ladies giving our secrets
You're going to
away.
get in trouble.
I do actually want to do a video sometime about
The
Montana
way.
way.
Montana
No, no,
way.
it's very, very
Each
similar.
one has their own.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love the Montana way.
It is a
Please
good
do
one.
an episode about
But
it.
it's funny, though.
It makes me feel so special when as
When
soon
you
as
get
I hit
waved
the
at?
dirt road, I
And,
get
and
waved.
you
yeah.
get a wave.
Yep.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm back out of town.
And apparently there's a secret Jeep Society wave,
Well,
too.
and it's
Okay.
funny because Jeep will tell you, if you buy any new Jeep, they will tell you, hey, you're going to enroll you. We'll enroll you in this Jeep Wave Club, which hasn't meant
cult.
anything for us. Yeah, other than we just have the secret handshake thing. But what's funny is, even though they tell it to everybody, it only happens in the off-road Jeep crowd. So Wranglers, Gladiators,
Yeah.
things like that can actually do some off-roading.
Not the
Yeah.
Wagoneers.
You're paying enough with a Wagoneer. I think that people will
Get
do
what
it.
you want. Yeah.
But it's funny. We had a buddy who bought a smaller Jeep SUV that's not trail rated or anything, and he was literally so excited about this Jeep Wave thing. He's like, "Well, that's fun. It's like this fun little." And he drives around, and nobody ever gives him. And he is so
Poor
sad.
guy.
It is the most
Does
hilarious.
he initiate it? And just no one waves back?
Now he's dejected. He just
Oh,
won't do
he
it.
won't do it because he's.
But it broke
sad.
him. Jeep let him down.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
The Jeep
Yeah.
community let him down.
Really?
Well, buy better
Wow.
Jeep, buddy.
Yeah.
guy.
Or-
Wow.
Get out of.
Yeah.
So you can go Jeeping.
You can go
Right.
Jeeping. Where do you guys take people on these Jeep adventures?
Yeah.
Because I think I read Middle Fork in the Little Belts.
Well, and so a lot of what we did, it turns out the rules change when people are paying you to go do activities. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
the permitting process specifically the Middle Fork of the Judith River, which is an amazing 4x4 trail. It's
Beautiful.
definitely
Clark.
intense.
Yeah.
We had a Subaru Outback before our Jeep. Don't take your Subaru Outback on that, but
No.
it's amazing. However, it's on federal land, and so you need permits and all this insurance, and it just takes a long time. So what our Jeep tours turned into is paved roads to Glacier, Yellowstone, things like that we actually can do.
Gotcha.
Are you working on the Middle Fork thing?
I have began talks with the Forest Service.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, the larger the agency, the more bureaucracy,
Yeah.
the slower that pace is. Interestingly, the city of Great Falls has been the best to work with.
Mm,
It's
awesome.
They're the mayor and Parks and Rec. Everybody
Yeah.
just says we need more cool stuff.
Yeah.
We'll support you whatever you need. So I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
super
fantastic.
supportive.
Yeah.
They're
Good.
good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I'm
fantastic.
hopeful that the Forest Service thing will work out for you because I think there's so much of the little belts that
Right.
people don't experience.
Yes.
And a lot of it is roadworthy. Like,
Right.
we've got, it's not part of the Jeep community, but it's part of a
Rebecca's
91
community.
Ford Ranger club.
Yeah.
Which is almost it's almost there. Yeah.
It's one of those rigs we picked up for $1,000 and you can
Nice.
take it anywhere. And if it accidentally rolls off the side of a mountain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a bummer, but hopefully everyone's fine. But we'll take that up into the belts all the time.
Nice.
Yes.
It's driven across the top of Yogo.
awesome.
Wow.
But I mean, it's fine.
My husband really wants to join the Jeep community or off road, like get a vehicle
Yes.
Yeah.
that's real cheap.
So you want a
Fix it
91
up.
Ford Ranger?
I don't maybe
It has a stank to it that is custom to that thing. Ooh,
it's part of the charm of that
It
thing.
is.
Okay.
it's called the Dawn scent.
Ooh. I don't know what that. So you have to wear your nose plugs in it when you go.
No, it's dissipated over the years,
Okay.
but
Oh.
Yeah.
the Dawn in it was pretty
Are you,
strong
are you
when we
saying
started.
DON like
Yeah,
a man?
like
Okay,
the-
I thought you were
See,
saying
that's
name
what
of
was
the
going-
owner.
That was going through my head too. I was like, oh, wait, do you mean like the dish soap?
Yeah, I was like,
Because
that-
I was
that
like,
could be
that's
a
probably
pleasant- yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Antibacterial, I hope. Green apple.
Nope.
Get the grease off.
Nope,
Yeah.
this one.
Okay, so you can do the Jeep adventures, kayaks. We talked about paddle boards, Rebecca's bikes at some point. What else can people find on there? Is that are those the main items?
Well, and there's also we have a couple of shooting adventures.
Okay, nice.
And what's interesting is in big tech, there's some keywords that are just banned. You're not
And
allowed
describe big tech like
So-
cute.
do you guys really want the heat on this? But like, the Google,
big
Facebook,
level.
yeah.
Okay.
All of these,
Yeah,
just
Facebook,
the
Google.
big tech. It's, it's a.
Don't say that word because then, it means you're going into a school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you saying guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, whatever. I don't care. We're just going to keep it
Yeah.
real. We're in Montana.
We
but-
live
true.
in Montana.
It's
so
true.
big tech will not touch anything with firearms
no.
at
Sure.
all. Hunting, nope.
Yeah.
Even sometimes fishing, nope. There's killing of an animal.
Yeah.
And so they want to appeal to the younger kind of woke crowd, and so they just try to appease everybody.
Yeah.
And so one of the consequences is you're not allowed to talk about firearms. So
Okay.
hunting, that's a big part of Montana
Oh,
culture.
yeah.
And healthy firearms recreation, trap shooting, stuff like that. And so we already have an advantage because nobody else in the tech space is going to do it. And so we're going to go down that road. And so we have a buddy right now. He's in the Air Force. He's an NRA firearms instructor, and he's the youngest member of his Cowboy Action Shooting Club.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of cowboy action shooting. We
Yeah.
have those here. Yeah,
Yes,
those tournaments
absolutely.
here. Yeah.
And
It's
so-
listed on the inventory.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Keep
so
going.
he's the youngest member. And so he was like, hey, I love teaching people. And he's a great instructor. He's safe. He's personable. And so he takes people out and you do a 3-gun speed, not really tournament, but you just compete against yourself or your buddies. And you shoot a shotgun from the 1800s, a lever action rifle from the 1800s,
wow.
and 2 revolvers from the 1800s. And he
Oh,
teaches you
wow.
the safety, all of that. Loading, reloading, all that, and there's a private gun range out 8 miles east of Augusta, in Sun River area, and it's Old West. You walk on boardwalks. These buildings
wow.
are all super old looking. You're only allowed to shoot certain ammo that won't destroy the range, and he's a member there, and so he pays them to, and he's allowed to take people out and go do this, and it's
Oh, wow.
super high end, super awesome, very bespoke, so he took us out so we could go get video and photos to promo
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it was so fun.
I had a
Yep.
blast. I loved it. I've never shot a revolver, so I've definitely done a lot of target shooting. And I love 22s and then like Glock and things like that, handguns. But I've never shot a revolver. I don't know why. It's scary to me.
Yeah.
But he hands me these huge revolvers. They're shiny.
Shiny
like I
chrome,
look
yeah.
like I am a cowboy. Like immediately, and I put on
The Old West.
You
yeah.
put on your
I
little.
put on my leather holster.
Yeah.
And It was so fun. So his goal was, by the way, the whole thing that he did with me is that I go through like each gun and do it. In essence, if you miss one, then you'd have to start over. But I got every single target.
Of course
my
you did.
gosh.
She actually she had more hits than he did, and he's the pro.
Wow.
I mean,
look at
he's
you.
about 10 times faster than her, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
That
yeah.
doesn't- yeah.
I was so slow.
It's not a
going
timed
from
event.
gun
It's
to
an
gun.
accuracy
It-
event.
no,
exactly.
Rebecca, it is time.
It is
You
partially.
compete on time primarily.
You do want to compete
That's
against
fine.
your own time. So he'll have you run through it. And then you do your time. You get a little better every time.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. So much fun. And Richie was wearing, he looks like a cowboy when we're out there. It's so fun.
Right.
So you'll have to stop at
Transport
Hoagland's and get your outfit
There
before
you
you
go.
book
Get
that
your
event.
boots and your hat.
I was
Or
underdressed.
does he provide the outfit,
No,
like an
he
ad
should.
fee?
He provides the
Costume.
leather.
There you go. Yeah.
He should. Yeah,
That's
it was
amazing.
really fun.
So people can sign up to do that activity.
Yep,
Yep.
on our
You guys?
website.
Okay.
Richie will take you out to the range, and he'll handle everything.
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
and coordinate pickup and all that sort of stuff.
So f- those who come to Montana and really want that, you're out in the Wild West experience.
Oh,
this
you
is the
will
thing
get
for
it.
you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
and
so fun.
and so you can take that idea with Montana, the things that we value, hunting, fishing, outdoors, and scale that to, what are these sort of activities that are happening in New York City? Maybe it's I couldn't even tell you, but maybe there's like free runners that love to jump across buildings or like, I mean,
That's
Alicia just
normal,
raised her eyes at me.
I just don't know if that
Parkour.
exists.
Parkour. Yeah, parkour.
That
I mean,
happens.
Whatever.
I've
There's
seen people.
I've never been to New York. I
okay,
have
maybe
no
maybe not New York
idea.
City. That was a bad example.
Broadway, Times Square.
Yeah, but then you don't need
Statue
us.
of Liberty.
Yeah, we're focusing on like gear rental and outdoor activities. So
Yes.
I
whatever there
think
is to
what
do in
is
New York.
unique about it is it's that local experience. So,
Yes.
like, everyone can buy a ticket and go to Broadway in New
Right.
York, but not everyone knows the best place to parkour
Yes.
Right.
in New
Hardcore
York.
parkour.
In
Yeah.
Great Falls.
Yeah. Well, in New
Yeah.
York. I think
Right.
it
Right.
happens here, but
Yeah.
I don't know
You
if
can
there's
add
a
that,
huge...
a guided parkour experience in downtown Great Falls.
Yes.
I don't want to know the insurance that you would need for that.
We
but-
actually, so our studio is downtown. There was a group of young adult, teenage, I don't know if they were teenagers or young adults, but they were going around doing parkour around
my
all the downtown
gosh.
buildings. And the guy at the time who owned our building that we're in now, I called him and said, "Hey, are you okay with like people jumping from one fire escape to the roof of this other?" And they're doing like fancy rolls when they land
my
and like
gosh.
whoa, ninja stuff. And he says, "No." And so he came down and shooting off.
No,
So-
no, I'm not okay with that.
They're here.
Yeah. The parkourians are here.
Shannon, there you go. Is your challenge to
that's my
find a
new-
parkourian and get them on our podcast.
Okay.
Maybe there's a huge parkour conference Callie Jean can land. now.
Ooh, yes.
We're
Again,
gonna
I don't
dig
want to
into
know
the
the insurance that's
segmentation.
involved with
We
that.
don't-
But
Well, so
yeah.
interestingly, liability insurance is one of the first things people tell me, or when I tell them about this idea, they're like, "Ooh, what's the insurance cost?"
Sure.
And interestingly, so for our buddy Richie, he pays about $200 a year for a several $million
Oh, wow.
aggregate liability
Okay.
policy.
So this is this is
It-
doable.
It's within
Reasonable.
reach, yeah.
It is.
So
Yeah.
it ranges from about $200 if you're just doing what they consider lower risk outdoor activities,
Mm-hmm.
if there is such a thing. But shooting is interestingly in that space
because
as is
it's in a
hiking.
controlled
Right.
environment with a
Yep.
professional.
Yes, with
correct.
an expert.
But that number jumps up to about $900 a year if you introduce water into it. So anything, and that's not whitewater rafting. That's just, hey, take my kayaks on the Missouri River.
Yeah.
I'll drop you off at the put-in. That's about $900 a year,
Wow.
which still
Okay.
isn't insane. You know, if you're going to make a side hustle, if you're going to start a business doing this.
Right. That's
not
really
bad.
not
Yeah.
bad.
So-
Yeah. So is it called if I'm going on your website to look for this experience, is it called Cowboy Action Shooting? What do I look for?
I think that's the
under
title.
there?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can go under, and we just, so nocals.com, KNOWCALS.com. We just turned off last night. MontanaMadeEasy.com was our first version of it.
Uh-huh.
That's now gone, and now it all redirects to Nocals. There's two tabs. There's Gear and Adventures. That's obviously a
Easy.
guided adventure.
Yeah.
Click that, and there's only like 4 or 5 that we have on there right now. We have to go add all our other ones and stuff, but yep.
Yeah, it is under
So
Cowboy Action
you'll
Shooting.
see it
Okay.
right there. Can't
Yep.
miss it.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, this is a really great idea, and because we also have people who come in to our center and are looking for, where can I go? I want to go out on the
Right.
river.
Which is the next big question I have, because oddly enough, people don't plan very much. I'm a planner. I'm a big planner. But people walk in and they're like, hey, we want to do this. Can we do it? Like, can we go ride a horse today? I'm like, no. Do you see any horses? So how long in advance do people need to book this? Can they do it at 1 and expect something at 2?
Right.
Is there a variety of times?
Yeah.
Talk to about the need for planning.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Rebecca, this is the second great insight that you brought. It's almost like you did this
Prepared.
professionally at one point in your life. You
Yeah.
consulted on asking these hard questions. But interestingly, that whole idea of availability, scheduling, that's one of the hardest problems that we're going to have to solve during this, because with kayaks and paddleboard rentals, if you're just looking for something to do later tonight, that shouldn't be hard. That's an easy transaction. I'm giving you the paddleboard and walking away. However, if you're doing this shooting adventure, Richie might have to clean his firearms. He might have to buy ammunition, might have to clean out his truck, all of these things.
Find you a cowboy hat and a vest.
Absolutely.
Swing by Oakland.
Yeah. And so the way that we're initially approaching it is because we just don't have enough time to build all these features, because ultimately we're a tech company is what we're trying to do.
Yep.
We're wanting to perfect this modern performant website.
Yes. Eventually, it will be built. And again,
yeah.
John's building this completely all on his own. We
Wow.
don't have other software engineers that are working on it for us. He is our
Thank you,
software
COVID.
engineer.
Coronavirus.
Yes.
But because
Thank you,
he's
school.
because he's building it and we're bootstrapping it with our other business, it is a little slower at growing. But eventually, as far as like all the features on our app, yeah,
It's a lot.
but eventually we'll have a very robust, just like Airbnb, just like Turo, all these different things that you can basically have a
calendar type
calendar
system.
that you pick the days that are available. And the person, for instance, our friend Richie, who does the cowboy action shooting.
Hey, Richie.
Yeah. So he would have his availability already on his calendar. So say he can't, I mean, he's also has a career. I mean, but say he would just have the days that he has available, and you can look right away and
Right.
almost
See if
like
he's
immediately,
available.
basically book it. So you'll have the open date.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be super robust eventually. We
Yeah,
will
but
be
in the
there.
meantime,
Yes.
to answer your question,
Yes.
how we're approaching it now is we have either inquire about your dates, send us a message, or on the things that I know I can control, I have a feature that is, it's like I turn on my open sign and say, you can rent this kayak right now, and in 30 minutes, I'll deliver it to you. You don't even have to talk to me. Tell me where you're at, pay
Nice.
for it, and I'll be there.
And so in essence, we're on call with our
Right.
paddleboards and
Always.
kayaks when we have that turned on. Yeah.
So if you aren't on a photography shoot,
Yes.
then you're on call for this all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So if
lot.
someone just had such a blast with your kayak and they decide never to talk to you again and take your kayaks and leave, what happens?
Well, you were
charge
forgetting
their
that I
card?
was a police officer and a detective for a while. But
No one
That's why
forget
I
that when
kicked
you
it
rent
off
it.
with that way.
Yeah.
But let's say that does happen. Those two things are low enough risk. I'm not worried about a $500 kayak or a $1,000
But
paddleboard.
you got to charge people for it.
I'm gonna get mine, before the day is. I'm just saying.
You're going to buy us too.
Let's say a better example would be, let's say, you do list your bikes on there, and somebody runs off with your bikes. I'll just go buy you more bikes to replace it, because our reputation and how we treat you in these early days is going to be much more important than the cost of 2 new bikes for me as we're trying to do this. So we have a lot of that stuff to figure out. We may try to do like low jack or Apple AirTags or different things once we kind of learn these problems. But right now we just don't care, and that's part of learning.
Yeah. And insurance definitely is going to be a huge
But
factor
more
in that.
importantly, all of these things have to be paid for through your website with a credit card.
Yes.
It's not like you're
Right.
getting
Yes.
cash,
Nope.
Right.
Yep. It'd be
shoving it in a bag
totally.
somewhere,
Yes.
Right. And that's the interesting
buried in
thing.
your backyard.
We only accept gold bullion. But what's
Back
That
by
makes
those
sense.
Chopping cotton.
interestingly is
Cryptocurrency.
every single problem that we're facing has been solved on another platform already. With
Sure.
Airbnb, when they first started talking about this, they're like, who on earth would allow a complete stranger to sleep in the room next to them in their house? And now,
Everybody,
it's something like
apparently.
90 million nights booked each month on Airbnb,
Wow.
which is amazing. Turo is peer-to-peer car rental. Trust your $60,000 car with somebody else. And so they've solved these insurance issues, this theft issue, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So
totally.
we're just going to go steal all the great things we can and go from there.
I just think eventually you just charge them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to price my bicycles that I got at the pawn shop really expensively too.
Yeah.
So does Rebecca get to decide her price? Do you have a suggested
Absolutely.
range?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, part of in these early days, we may sound super professional and eloquent, but really, we have no idea what we're doing. So we're making it up all the time. So let's say Rebecca does contact us and say, "Hey, I want to get my bikes going." Our first question is going to be like, "Well, strap in because we're learning together.
Yes.
Let's get you insured first and,
Yes.
and get some sort of limited liability company or some easy way to protect yourself, and then let's figure out the pricing, all that, and being upfront with people. It's a lot of work to manage reservations and to people are going to ask you, well, how does this gear shifter work?
Yep.
That sort of stuff.
Rebecca has to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So out in her
I'll be
heel,
great.
her blazer and heels, riding
Yeah.
around the parking lot here at the visitor
Yeah.
center,
Right.
showing it off.
I'm ready.
but
The
that,
amount of people that I deal with and what I have to explain. Oh man,
Yes.
I'm perfect for this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
but that
That's
also
a lot of training.
Yes, that also brings up though why we're passionate about this and why it kind of excites us. We love to share. We figured that out.
Right.
And the people were
As a kid, I didn't. My mom said, "You're the worst." I was a horrible
That
sharer.
seems
but-
normal. Yeah. You grew out of it,
Yeah.
though. That's the
Yeah.
important part. Yeah.
But I grew up in Great Falls. This is my hometown, and I've always loved the river. Like the Missouri makes me so happy. Walking by it, looking at it, swimming in it, being in it. We didn't have a boat growing up, so the minute that we got paddle boards back when they first came out, people were
Yeah.
like, "What is
What
that?
is
What
this
do you
thing?"
have?" We put it on the river, and I immediately went, "Oh, I am an explorer. I am Lewis and Clark. I can
Freedom!
it's so fun." So anyway, I love to share that passion. And really, it's so fun when you can unlock that in someone where they say, "Oh, I could be on the river today." And you get them on
Right.
the river and they're done with their experience. They go, "That was amazing. That
Yeah.
was so wonderful.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have such a great city. The way that it bends and goes and meanders, the river, it's beautiful. And it's so great to interact with." So I love unlocking that where
Right.
people can go and have that experience for the first time in whichever way it is. So when that comes to either gear rental or taking them out and being a host, being a guide,
Yeah.
it's so fun to be able to share that. Yeah. So anyway.
I agree. But do you get concerned about some people's ability to navigate the river when they get too close to the dam and could get sucked in?
Yeah. Tell them not to go that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We
certain
definitely
places we should not go.
so far we've definitely had just guidelines to tell them like, okay, this is your landmark, this is what you're looking for, and this is where you should get out. And everyone's been great so far.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as it scales, of course, we'll run into issues, but
I can't wait to have you back so we can talk about the weird people that you've met.
And the things that have
and
happened
what's
here.
interesting is
I can't wait for Alicia to go, "You would have never guessed this would happen,
Yeah,
but it did."
it did.
well, and some of those, I would say right now, everybody that has booked something
Yeah.
has been a very interesting. How you're here? Why? That's so interesting. Why do you want to do this with us? Oh, you want to do it again the next day with a different adventure because you had so much fun the first day. It's
Yeah.
like these are interesting
Perfect.
people that want to immerse themselves in the culture and activities of a place, and they have rich experiences, and we're not shy, and
Yeah.
we're okay to have real talk with people, and so it's fun, and it's honestly,
yeah.
you were joking in the beginning, like, these friend adventures or whatever, and that's truly what it has. The people that we've done it with, we've become friends with them that day.
Oh, yeah.
And that's ultimately how I'm starting to think about it, is you're not just getting a trip up to the parts of Glacier I'm allowed to take you to, but you're my friends now, and let me show you how we do this, and
Yes.
and you'll trust me, and if you're
Yeah.
hot, tell me, and I'll turn on the AC. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay. It's okay to fall asleep on the ride home. Like, just be real.
Yeah.
And there is that tapestry of friendly expertise all over this planet
Oh,
that I want
yes.
to tap into.
But especially Montana.
Right.
We just have
Because there's
the
no nice
coolest
people. I mentioned New York earlier. Don't worry, that's not a nice city. I want to get catcalled or yelled at, go there.
like
Yes,
constantly.
that's my goal.
I miss that. I mean, I want to go
Yeah.
back just to get catcalled. Hopefully it
The
happens.
best. Yeah.
Man.
But it's often, we hear it often here at the office, is people in Montana are just so nice.
Yes.
Right.
And I always
Yep.
look at them like, where are you living
do
where
you
people
live?
are not nice to you?
Yeah.
I know.
Just off the bat mean. Yeah.
Because I've lived here almost my whole life. We lived in Butte for 2 years, and it was super fun. Actually, turned out. At first, I was like, Butte, what?
Yeah.
But then I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
But then,
Shout out for Butte.
We have friends that are in the tons of friends in the military that go, yeah, Montana is so nice. Like the people here are so nice. And that's crazy to hear that other places they aren't.
Right. You're like,
how is that possible?
why is everywhere else so not nice? Yeah.
I think it's just the pace of life and the stress of your commute and your job, and it's just there's no time.
All of those factors.
And that parking spot is mine. That merge onto the that's mine.
Constantly fighting everybody else for things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And parking, I have to jockey, you had to circle the block 10 times to try to find a parking spot for your Broadway, New York. Don't do Broadway. Or hire a local to get you there.
I would just take the subway to Broadway. That would be my plan.
Ooh, I didn't even forget. I didn't even know.
I did the subway one
think
time
that's
in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And it was an underground system.
Yeah.
I think all subways
that's
are
all
underground.
subways. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a staple of
there
the
are
system.
trains and
Trains on the top.
that are on top. Yeah.
Subways are underneath.
Rebecca, you don't let them stifle your creative energy. You just go. You just tell your story, sister. You know what I'm saying?
An underground subway, and it was amazing, except like we didn't know what stop we needed, and there wasn't any way to look out. So I'm like, well, let's just get off and surface and see what's out there, and then get back down if we need to keep
Like
going.
a submarine.
It was
Where are we?
weird.
Yeah.
It was fun. I think I was in Philadelphia. It was nerve-wracking. I'm not going to do it often, but
That's good. You live here where we don't have any subways.
No.
don't have to worry about that.
No.
Just the sandwich shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a backstory with a sandwich shop?
No,
Just
their
says
name's
called Subway.
Subways.
Oh, wow. My bad. I was like, ooh, tell me the creepy, weird sandwich shop.
I mean, I'm sure they have their fair share of stories, but I was just mentioning that it's a Subway.
Fresh.
Yeah. Okay. Are we missing anything? What else do we need to know about the locals who know?
Give us the website address again.
Oh, yes.
Knowcals.com, KNOWCALS. Locals who know. That's our whole goal.
Yeah.
And you
What
can
we're
look
trying to
up
build.
in advance, look up when you're here.
Right.
We have your signage up in our visitor center as well.
Yeah.
You're also on our website. So, folks, if you need help planning, visit greatfallsmontana.org. You're going to find equipment rentals, guides, places to stay.
And John will eventually have a rap about Knowcles.
Oh, I can't wait.
I don't know if I'll do it about. That's kind of a weird word. She says when we were talking about the name, she goes, I don't like it. It kind of gets caught in my throat funny. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, say it out loud. And I said it, and I'm like, Knowcles. Oh, she's right.
Oh, it does.
But we needed a consistent name that can go on all our different online properties.
Yes.
And
No, I like
It's
it.
a good name.
I do too now. I really like it now.
It takes some
so
time to
fun.
warm up.
It's easier
you know?
to read than
yeah, but
say.
think about Facebook. How dorky. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg, but how dorky was that when it came out?
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Walmart,
MySpace,
nobody's arguing with their billions.
Twitter's a weird
eBay.
word.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. eBay. Yeah. Oh, my
all
God.
of the things.
I mean,
Okay.
we could go on for days about weird tech names.
It's true.
This one at least makes sense.
It does make
Thank you.
sense.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you.
expect a wrap at some point
Okay.
to accompany when I open up your website and app.
I want your face to pop up like white screen. You throw down some freestyle.
Uh-huh.
Book your adventures.
Now,
Get your
there is
equipment.
there's one other thing. Sorry to interrupt.
no. Go ahead.
I am excited. I noticed something because we were working on the website, and I was basically we do have a section on there that's just things to do. So aside from our
Oh wait,
gear,
sorry, I never even. So during COVID,
so excited.
so how this whole idea got started. We started talking about chopping wood, and we got distracted. But that was this whole thing was my final project when I was at
This
school.
was it. Yeah.
And so it started out as it was a platform that could allow anybody, if you go do a hike, you can go create a hike, add photos, and then other people go on and rate a review and say, because All Trails is a great resource, but the people, they have 3 different difficulty ratings. It's easy, intermediate, or hard. Well, I'm an average human being, not the most cardio conditioned creature on the face of this earth. And so when something says intermediate, it is extremely hard for me. We are gassing, trying to survive, taking our next step. And so I was like, this isn't
this is
working.
not intermediate.
You're like,
Yeah,
these
maybe for
very
somebody,
subjective levels.
yeah, for somebody who's been to Everest and back, this is
It's an
medium.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, this is death. And so we wanted a better way to think about that. And also, can I bring my kids to this, or are they going to fall off a cliff? And so we built this whole directory, and we have, at this point, I think, like 292 Montana things. And some of those are Glacier and Yellowstone, but around our area. And they've been reviewed, and it's all just crowdsourced content. And so that's on there as well. And that was our old version of what was called Adventure Montana.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
but that was not a business. That was just this online cool
it's
final
just
project.
fun to find.
So
'cause-
yep. So now everybody always said, well, how are you going to make money? I don't know, you get enough visitors and eventually you can monetize it. And so now that's why we're doing it, and we're rebranding so that we can think beyond Montana, but Montana is still true in our heart. So on our website, I think that's what Alicia was going to say, is there's a thing called Things to Do in Montana.
Yes. And side note, I was going through and basically separating them by region so that people can go, okay, am I in here? Oh, I'm near Great Falls. I need to look at this.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. I discovered, just because of all the content that John and I, some of our friends and other people just that had added content to what we had before, we have more Central Montana things than anything else in the state listed on our things to do.
Awesome.
That's
So-
Well, like
fantastic.
competing.
Yeah. But
know,
I was
like-
super excited because I went, wait a second, like for the people that, I don't know, growing up like in high school, or some people who first move here in the Air Force, they might say, oh, there's nothing to do around Great Falls. And I was so excited. I'm like, look at this.
But look at
we've got
all of
more
these
things
things.
listed near Great Falls than any of the other
And
states.
That
I
is
just have to
awesome.
say, so I was one of those people. I came up to this city in the Air Force back in 2001. I had that experience. I thought, like driving up here, I drove from Southern California all the way up through the Rocky Mountains, and I thought, this is beautiful. This is amazing. And then I landed in Great Falls, and I thought, oh boy, this is small. I'm not excited to be here. And it took me longer than it should have because I was dumb and I didn't want to explore and do all that.
Yeah.
And what has transformed in my mind, for a lot of years, I was bitter because I, was forced to be here and ended up getting out of the Air Force, and this is now our home, and Alicia would not have it any other way. And I was kind of bitter about that for a while too.
Good job. Yeah.
But what's happened is Great Falls, I've certainly matured and have embraced the outside, but Great Falls has absolutely, in the almost 20 years I've been here, it has grown and it has changed. I remember going downtown, 4:30, 5 o'clock on a weeknight, and it was a ghost town. And I was like, this hurts my heart. It's cringy a little bit. And now we're downtown and we see what, for example, the Newberry and Elevation has done. You can't find parking on our block in the evenings.
It makes me so giddy when that happens. So
it's
it's such
exciting.
a
That's
big
great,
thing to
yes.
get excited about. But
And the biggest thing of all this, and I haven't had this thought, since I moved here 20 years ago, we took with her sister and family, 6 of us, went out kayaking and paddleboarding on the Missouri River just here in town.
Like 3 nights ago.
Yep. And we were all kind of frazzled and busy and that, and it was hot out, but we decided to do it. And we were floating, and right about the time that I was crossing under the Warden Bridge, looking at the logs that have those bikes on them, which is interesting.
yeah.
Iconic. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And continued down that direction. I started seeing all the development at West Bank Landing, and it was right at sunset. And so the lights were, beautiful oranges and reds in the sky. The lights were all on in all these buildings, and you saw all the guests of the Staybridge and, the other hotels down there were enjoying their, river-facing
Like the patio
areas.
Yeah.
And the fairs in town went, and so I smelled fried food and Kobe's, beef and chicken.
Yeah.
And I smelled good charred meat in the air
As you're floating
as
in the
I'm
cool river.
cooled off on the river and looking at the sunsets and these modern, awesome buildings. And for the first time ever, I thought, wow, Great Falls, this moment right here is the first time I've ever had the thought, I would pay money to go visit this town like I do pay to go other places. And I've never had that thought before because I've been forced to be here or, and I've never slowed down enough to realize that. And it was a transformational, exciting moment for me. So it's pretty cool.
that's
I'm glad
pretty
you had that
awesome.
before you came on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, but that's neat though. It's exciting to
Right.
see not only is it an attitude shift in yourself, but also to look and see, wow, what's actually right around us when
Right.
I open my eyes and I look and
Right.
I get out of my house or my apartment and I
Yeah.
go
Right.
and I
Yeah.
look and
Absolutely.
explore. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on the podcast, having fun with us, especially after the late night you had.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
With your photography. Now I can't say it wrong like I was
Oh,
saying
yeah, now
earlier.
you
It sounds like she was imbibing at last call or something. We had
No.
she had
I
a
had
late photo shoot.
I had a great photo shoot up in Sealy Lake for a really special senior who's graduating, and it was a blast. We had so much
Well, we
fun.
hope she's graduating.
she will
She better be.
she'll
Get those
definitely
She'll
graduate.
straight
now,
Fs.
No, she's a good
It's a
one.
risk taking those photos then. Yeah.
And so what else is really cool about this episode is you get a little bit more of that behind the scenes look at
Absolutely.
the people that live here and how they're working to make not just the visitor experience better, but our locals experience better. And we are home to Malmstrom Air Force Base, so
Right.
it makes it a little bit funner for people that are coming here that may not be the traditional outdoor recreator to be able to embrace that a little bit
Yes.
more
Yep.
and really have an appreciation for what Great Falls and Montana is, even if it's not your bag.
Right.
At least you
Yeah.
get that opportunity to go, yeah, I tried it. It wasn't my thing. Last thing, though, snowmobiles. Do we see a future where snowmobiles will be on the Nokel site?
Absolutely.
We are working
Absolutely.
on that because obviously winter can be in
A long season.
a long season here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And we oh my gosh, we're thinking about even out
Yeah.
of the box like winter things, but definitely snowmobiles.
And Montana
Man.
tourism is such a summer weighted thing,
Yeah.
because kids are off of school. But if when I was in the Air Force, if I would have known that there is somebody who can pick me up, get me safely up into the Little Belts, put me on a snowmobile, teach me how to do it safe, and lead me on a trail system, I would have
yeah.
paid
Yeah.
who knows, and
Any
especially if it had
amount.
some hot chocolate and some jackets so I wouldn't
Yeah.
freeze because I
Yeah.
didn't have the right winter gear.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And even thinking about like a winter survival class, I've always thought, man, I'm so spoiled. If World War III happens, thanks China and Russia, if that happens now, I'm hosed.
You're going to
in
run
winter.
for the hills
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
last long.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, well, I would personally be interested. It would be agonizing, but I would pay a good amount of money for somebody who's qualified
Yeah.
to teach me how to hunt
Winter
a wild
survival.
hare
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how to set up a
Make bunny stew.
absolutely, yeah. So things like that, and also just sledding at like Verde Park
Yeah.
is something that kids do. We already have a trailer, so why not? Instead of having paddle boards and kayaks on it, let's take that stuff off and set up a fire pit. Like an ice fishing tent and have hot cocoa so the kids can
A
go
s'mores
sled.
kit.
Yeah, come back and do s'mores, warm up, go do it more. The parents are like, oh my gosh, this is almost like babysitting. This is cool.
Yeah.
I'll pay any amount of money for you to waste all my kids' energy on a Saturday
Right.
so
Yeah.
they don't bug me sort of
Yeah.
thing. So winter, we definitely, snowmobiling is a big part of that. And we have the Little Belts. That's an amazing, that's a world-class
It's right in our backyard.
asset.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if
So-
you know any retirees who have a bunch of sleds and that time and a desire to teach, let me know.
Connect those dots.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, folks, next time you're in the Great Falls area, you'll have the opportunity to rent kayaks and likely bicycles.
Rebecca's bikes.
You may
Yes.
need to air the tires consistently, but we'll see how well I can get maintenance
There'll
on
be a
that.
disclaimer on there. Yeah.
So thank you, and stay tuned. There's more to come. 2 years from now, we'll have John and Alicia back.
Yes.
They can talk about the people that they've gotten to interact with in the last 2 years.
Or our exciting trials through bankruptcy court,
What that
We'll
experience was
revisit
like.
no matter what
Yeah.
the in-between holds. Yes.
So thank you all for listening. Thanks for being here. And until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy face here in Great Falls, we hope you're creating amazing memories wherever you are with your friends and family. Bye-bye.
We're no dam experts as the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.